Until now, all our programs followed a linear path. It started at the top and moved all the way to the bottom without selecting any other route or repeating some block of code throughout its journey. So now we will begin control statements that will help us alter the flow of our program. They will help us to repeat certain block of code for desired amount of time or run one block of code based on certain condition leaving the other. These control statements are put together in three categories. The first one is selection, and the other iteration, and finally jump. So firstly we'll discuss about selection statements, and this will also cover relational and logical operators as well. The basic syntax or the general form of the if statement is, so we write the keyword if and then these parentheses, and in between them we mention a condition. This condition is any expression that will return a boolean value, and finally we have one statement. So what this gonna do is, if this condition is true, then this statement will be executed. Otherwise we can tell it to do something different. So for that we have the else block. So if this statement is true, if this condition is true, then this statement will be executed. Otherwise this statement in the else block will be executed. And if we have only one statement, we don't need to surround that statement with these curly braces. But if we have more than one statement, then these curly braces are compulsory, and they just make sure this is a single block of this if statement. Or we can also put these curly braces in this else block if there are more than one statement. So that was all about the structure of any if statement. So now let's write a very simple program. Suppose we have int I equals 5, and we want to print something like the number is 5 if this value of I is equal to 5. Otherwise we want to print this number is not 5. So we must use the if statement in this regard. So we are going to write if, and then in this condition we want to check whether the variable I is equal to 5 or not. So first of all we mention the variable name, and for comparison we have the comparison operator, that is double equals. So this will check whether I is equal to some value. This can be any variable or a single value, or even any expression. So when we write I double equals 5, then it will check whether I is equal to 5 or not. And we can write system.out.println the variable I is equal to 5. So let's copy this statement, since we're going to put that in this else block. And let's change this is not equal to 5. So let's run this. Okay, and we'll get the variable I is equal to 5, since we set this variable I to be 5. Now let's change the value of I to be some other value, and we'll get the variable I is not equal to 5. So that's how this if statement works. And you must keep in mind that only if this condition is true, this if block will be executed. Otherwise the else block will be executed. And we can also, suppose we have a boolean variable, boolean I equals true, and we can simply write if I, only if I, and uh, since this since the value of I is true, this if block is going to be executed. The variable I is equal to 5. This lies in this if block, so this is executed. Now let's change the value of I to be false and run the program, and we'll get the variable I is not equal to 5. We can simply write only the variable if we have a boolean value, but we can also write if I equals true. This will be same as writing just I. And this double equal sign that you see right here is one of the relational operators, and we have other relational operators too, and we are going to discuss about them now. So let's clear all this code and declare a variable int I that is equal to 10. So until now we have produced all our if block by ourselves. We can make Eclipse do that for us. Just type if and then press Control and spacebar, and we have uh, these options. Select the first one, that is if dash if statement, and it will produce the block for us. So and we are going to discuss one relational operator, that is greater than. If we write I and greater than 5, then this is going to check whether I is greater than 5 or not, and we can print I is greater than 5, and let's run the program. And since the value of I is set to be greater than 5, we get this result. And if we change this value to v4, then we are not going to get any result, since we haven't mentioned the else block. And suppose this is I equals 5, and when you run we won't get anything, because this is saying strictly that I must be greater than 5. We also have greater than or equals relational operator, that is greater than, and we put the equal sign. Now this is going to check whether I is greater than or equals to 5, and we can write here I is greater than or equal to 5. Let's run the program, and now we are going to get the result. Similarly, we have less than and less than or equal to operator. So let's change this statement to be I is less than 5, and also the value of I to be 1. And since the condition is true, we must get the result in this if block. Now similarly, for less than or equal to operator, we have this less than and then the equal sign. And if we have the value of I set to 5, this time also we can get this result. So now we are left with the final relational operator, that is does not equal to. Suppose we have this value of I3, and we want our our condition to be I is not equal to 5. So what we need to do is put this exclamation sign and then equals. That makes this condition to be I is not equal to 5, and then we can write here I is not equal to 5, and we'll get the result. So with this we have finished all the relational operators. So by using the knowledge we have gained so far, let's write a program that will help us find whether a number is odd or even. So for that the comment's going to be a program to find whether a number is odd or even. And let's declare the variable which is going to store our number, that will be num with int data type. And this time we won't have a predefined value for our variable num. Instead we are going to get the input from the user. For taking a user input, we firstly need to create a scanner object, and for creating the scanner object we require a scanner class. So leave a space after this package declaration and type import import java.util dot and then capital S and then canner. So this scanner is a class in Java that helps us to get input from the user. So this is all about importing a predefined class in Java. And now after this class is imported, we need to create an object out of it. So to create the scanner object, type scanner scanner, the class name, and then the object name. Object name is any valid identifier as a variable name, and that will be USER user and capital I and PUT input, and that will be equal to new scanner and then parenthesis semicolon, and in between these parentheses type system.in. So this statement right here creates a new object user input of type scanner. We will discuss more about objects and classes in the future videos when we will start learning about object-oriented programming. But for now, just know the process of creating a scanner object. So now that we have created this scanner object, we can use it to get user inputs. So firstly we need to prompt the user to enter a number. So type system.out. and this time only print, and so you can say enter a number. And now we are going to assign our variable num to a value, and this time the value is going to be user input dot next next. And then since our variable is of type int, we will choose the next int. So here this next int is one of the methods of this user input object that helps to take an int value. So finally we are left with the final task, finding whether the number is even or odd. For that you need to know what an even number is and what an odd number is. Probably you know what they are, but if not, an even number is a number that is perfectly divisible by 2 and leaves no remainder, whereas an odd number is a number that is not perfectly divisible by 2 and leaves a remainder 1. So for this we will be using the modulus operator, and inside this if statement we will write if num modulus 2 is equal to 0, that is if it leaves no remainder while dividing by num, then it is an even number. So num plus is even, else, and just copy this statement, and num is odd. So let's run the program. enter a number. So give it a value of 4, and 4 is even, and again run it, and 7 is odd, and 1000, and 1000 is even. So as you can see, our program is running fine and we are having no issues with it, but let's give it some weird values, like -4, and it will say -4 is even, but it isn't even. And in the next video I'm going to show you how other powerful ways of using uh, the if statement so that these sort of problems can be solved.